All right, so let's talk about something that has completely changed the way I think about my money and my life. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not about picking the next hot stock. It's something much deeper and, honestly, much more powerful. It's about what it truly means to be wealthy. And a lot of these ideas come from a really profound book called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Now, if you haven't read it, don't worry. We're going to dive into some of its biggest lessons today. Because this isn't just about finance, it's about behavior, it's about history, and it's about understanding your own brain. You see, we often think that getting good with money is about what you know. You need to understand complex financial formulas. You need to read the Wall Street Journal every day. You need to have a degree in economics. But that's only a tiny piece of the puzzle. The real key to building wealth isn't necessarily about your intelligence quotient, your IQ. It's about your behavior with money. It's about how you respond to market crashes, how you handle your greed, how you manage your fears. Financial success is far more soft-skilled than we are led to believe. It's less about Newton's laws of physics and more about understanding human nature. Because you can be the most brilliant mathematician in the world. But if you panic and sell all your investments the moment the stock market takes a dive, you're going to wipe out all of your gains. Conversely, someone with very basic knowledge but a ton of patience and discipline can become incredibly wealthy over time just by doing nothing. Isn't that fascinating? The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. We think, if I can just make $50,000 a year, I'll be set. Then we get there, and we see someone making $75,000, and suddenly our 50 feels inadequate. Then we want 100,000. Then 200,000. The goalpost keeps sliding further down the field, and we're forever running after it, never feeling like we've actually arrived. Never feeling truly wealthy. We're in a constant state of wanting more. Real wealth, therefore, isn't about having a certain number in your bank account. True wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not bought, the diamonds not purchased, the upgraded wardrobe that stayed on the rack. It's the assets that haven't been converted into a lifestyle. It's the freedom and the security that comes from having money that you do not need to spend. That's the real definition of being rich. It's not about displaying your social status, it's about the absence of financial stress. It's about having control over your time and your options. When you have savings, you have the ability to walk away from a job you hate. You have the ability to wait for a good opportunity instead of jumping at the first one that comes along out of desperation. That flexibility is a form of wealth that is far more valuable than any luxury car. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And no, it's not gravity. It's compound interest. And we all know the term, but I don't think we truly feel it in our bones. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people on the planet, didn't build his fortune through wild, risky bets. He did it through the relentless, patient application of compound interest over a ridiculously long period of time. The magic of compounding isn't intuitive. Our brains are wired to think in linear terms. If I save $100 this month, I'm $100 richer. That's linear. But compounding is exponential. It's that $100 earning $10, and then, next year, it's $110 earning $11, and so on. It starts slow, agonizingly slow. But then it hits an inflection point, and it just rockets upward. The key is time. You need to give it time. This is why starting early is such a massive advantage. It's not about the amount you start with, it's about the time you allow it to grow. A small amount invested for 40 years will far outperform a large amount invested for 10 years. It's like rolling a snowball down a very, very long hill. At the top, you're just picking up a few flakes. It seems pointless. But by the bottom, you have an unstoppable avalanche of snow. The problem is that we get impatient. We want to see results now. We abandon the plan because nothing seems to be happening for the first few years. But the people who understand this, who have the patience to just let it sit and grow, they are the ones who win the game. And this leads us to a really crucial idea: room for error. No plan survives contact with reality perfectly. The world is unpredictable. The economy will have recessions. You might lose your job. Your car might break down. An unexpected medical bill might arrive. So, the smartest thing you can do with your money is to build a robust plan that can withstand life's inevitable surprises. This means don't invest every single penny you have, even if the math says you'll get a higher return. You need a cushion. You need cash on the sidelines. You need to be able to endure a market downturn without being forced to sell your investments at a loss just to pay your mortgage. Room for error is what allows you to stick with your long-term plan when things get tough. It's the shock absorber for your financial life. It's what gives you the staying power to let your investments compound for decades. Without it, you're fragile. One piece of bad luck can derail everything. With it, you're anti-fragile. You can actually benefit from volatility because you can buy more when prices are low. Finally, let's talk about a story that Morgan Housel loves to tell, and it perfectly illustrates how luck and risk play a role in everything. Imagine two investors. One is a brilliant, hard-working, savvy person who does everything right. They study the markets. They make smart decisions. The other is a complete fool who just gets incredibly lucky. He throws all his money at a random, crazy idea, and it happens to work out through sheer dumb luck. Who do we admire? We admire the first person, of course. But here's the thing. In the real world, it's almost impossible to tell them apart just by looking at the outcome. The outcome of any single event is always a combination of skill and luck. The problem is that we tend to worship success and ignore the role that luck played in it. We see a billionaire, and we assume every decision they made was genius. But maybe they were just in the right place at the right time. Conversely, we see someone who failed and we assume they made stupid mistakes, but maybe they were just incredibly unlucky. Understanding this is humbling. It teaches us not to judge others too harshly for their financial failures and not to be too arrogant in our own successes. It teaches us to focus on the process, on making good decisions with the information we have, rather than being obsessed with the outcome, which is never fully within our control. So, what's the ultimate lesson in all of this? Building wealth isn't a straight line. It's a messy, human process. It's about behaving well when everyone else is panicking. It's about being reasonable when others are greedy. It's about defining enough for yourself and stopping the endless comparison with others. It's about harnessing the incredible power of compound interest by being patient, more patient than you ever thought you needed to be. And it's about always leaving room for error because life will throw curveballs. True wealth is hidden. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you're going to be okay, no matter what happens next. It's not about the stuff you buy, it's about the freedom you keep. And that is a lesson worth remembering every single day.